There's so much to choose from. Gorillagram, good for you. Policeman, fireman or traditional stripper. They're the closest thing to saucy seaside postcards. Big ones, little ones, fat ones, thin ones, girls in fishnets, boys in helmets.
Oh, stop messing about.
Strippergrams, of course. If it's a stripper you're after, why not try Tony Popoto's agency, Beachline Limited, also known as Absolute Entertainers. He can provide you with any kind of performer or impersonator your heart desires. But you've told us booking with Beachline can be anything but fun. Susan and Kate booked a surprise stripper for their colleague's birthday. They requested a sexy suited female sales executive.
It was just going to be a bit of fun, a 9 AM spoof meeting up in the conference room for a stripper to turn up and give him a bit of a shock.
But it was Kate and Susan who were in for a shock when their strippergram turned up.
I must confess, my first impressions, I was just staggered. She was very large, covered in tattoos. She was dressed in the most unsexy outfit I've ever seen. Tooth missing, big gap tooth.
Everyone was stunned, but the show must go on.
We've just never seen men look so terrified before in their lives.
Lost for words.
Yes.
The bubble had burst. Kate wanted an explanation.
The company didn't want to know. Their attitude was, you got what you ordered and that's that. We're not interested, we're not compensating you in any way. If it's still going on, I feel angry. I mean, we can laugh about it because, yes, it's a stripper, yes, oh, yes, it's funny. Yes, it is in a way, but it's not if they are still cheating people out of money, and it should be stopped.
Beachline have got a funny way of looking at things. Does my bum look big in this?
What you like.
Dan and Giles were planning a saucy surprise for their mate's birthday, but something the girlfriends wouldn't object to.
We decided the best course of action was to put roly-polygrams, really to sort of put more of a laugh into it and take the sexual connotations out of it.
Absolute Entertainers said they could supply 2 18-stone roly-polies, just what the boys were looking for. But when they arrived...
I went out to meet them, and as soon as I saw them, I knew that it wasn't what I booked. 2 attractive young ladies, certainly not 18 stone.
Dan rang Beachline to find out where his roly-polies had got to. But they weren't interested in chewing the fat. They insisted he pay for the strippers even though they weren't what he booked.
It was much ruder, much more sexual than we wanted. You've got people waiting, guests are waiting for something, and everyone's, you know, waiting in anticipation. You're put in a position where you're almost sort of, well, cornered, really, and you're made to go with it. And if you don't go with it, they'll charge your credit card, so you have no choice.
Beachline advertised in yellow pages across the country. With so much exposure, you'd think they'd cornered the market. But Tony doesn't like losing business to his rivals. Becky and Jen wanted a male stripper for their mate's leaving do. They contacted a number of companies, including Beachline, but in the end they decided to go elsewhere. Becky then received a call from who she believed was the company she'd booked her stripper with. Turns out it was Beachline, and they wanted paying.
He actually became really aggressive and started to swear at me down the telephone, and then was quite adamant that regardless of whether or not I've booked a stripper through somebody else, I was going to have to pay the money.
Becky never saw a stripper from Beachline, she never even booked one, but they still took money from her account. We wondered what would happen if we booked our own Beachline entertainer. From over 40 strippers on Beachline's website, this one caught our eye. He's called Sai. He looks very much like Chico from the X Factor. But it can't be, can it?
Everybody say what time is it? It's Chico time.
Sure enough, this is a publicity shot of Chico. So would Beachline book him for us?
We did specifically want, as I say, Sai or C off the website. The guy with the curly hair is about 3 up from the bottom.
Yeah, no worries.
You know what I mean?
We couldn't wait. Booked for just under £70 a night. Could it be Chico time for us?
I only do this show for the kisses.
Hang on, that's not Chico or Sai.
The thing that we're a bit confused about is that when I rang up the company to book, we asked for this guy, Sai.
Nobody told me anything.
Our stripper was very good at his job, but he just wasn't what we booked. And where was the real Chico? Topping up his tan in Thailand. We rang Beachline to complain, but we had to be quick. They charge £1.50 a minute on their customer service line. A nice touch.
Oh, stop it.
He asked for a specific one. This guy called Cy, who's like, there's a picture on the website, and it was definitely supposed to be him.
Hang on, this is really, really confusing me now. Hold a minute, because you should have had a guy called C, right?
Beachline's owner, Tony Popoto, then gets onto the phone to Chico to ask why he didn't turn up for the job.
Why didn't you do the job? Well, what do you mean, see cover? People want their money back.
That's odd. We spoke to Chico. He said he used to be a stripper, but he hasn't spoken to Popoto in at least 5 years. And complaining to Beachline can cost a lot of money. Last year, it was fined £10,000 for keeping customers waiting unnecessarily on their premium rate number, and for not telling people it cost £1.50 a minute to call. Although we were told the cost of our call, it's still expensive to complain to Beachline. And what are you getting in return?
I didn't really rate their customer service at all, and I was absolutely gutted that somebody would actually have the audacity to speak to me like that on a telephone.
Would we get the same level of abuse? Our researcher Bella was about to find out.
I mean, with a name like Bella, I can imagine what your kind of person you are with a name like Bella. I can imagine the type of person that you are. You know?
What sort of person?
Well, I could just imagine, I can picture an idiot that you are, the kind of person that you are. I could just imagine what kind of person you are. I mean, with a name like Bella, I mean, you make up all these stories that you book C.
Yeah, I did. I asked on the phone for
yeah, well, hold a minute, one second.
I spelled it C-I and I...
And with that, Tony put her on hold. Strip away at Beachline Limited, and the truth gets less and less cheeky and more mucky. There must be funnier ways to leave a mate with a red face.
What about Tony Popoto's side of the story? Well, we wanted him to come and answer his customers' complaints, so we sent him a special invitation. We didn't send him a strippogram, we sent him a gorillagram. This is his HQ in Horsham, West Sussex, and that's Tony. In a statement, he said a different stripper from the one booked would only be sent in an emergency rather than letting clients down altogether. And this only happens in a tiny fraction of cases. But an interview, he's not buying it, is he?
No, back to his statement. He says he couldn't explain what Chico's picture was doing on his website or why he called our researcher Bella an idiot, or indeed all Bellas everywhere. He couldn't investigate the case of wrongly taking a customer's credit card details because the customer didn't want us to pass on her details to him. Fair enough. He says he's been in business 25 years and offers the best value for money anywhere. Book with caution, and sorry to Bellas everywhere.
Hang on, this is really, really confusing me now. Hold a minute, because you should have had a guy called C, right? Why didn't you do the job? Well, what do you mean, C cover? People want their money back. I mean, with a name like Bella, I can imagine what your kind of person you are with a name like Bella. I can imagine the type of person that you are. You know?
What sort of person?
Well, I could just imagine, I can picture an idiot that you are, the kind of person that you are. I could just imagine what kind of person you are. I mean, with a name like Bella, I mean, you make up all these stories that you book C.